Morning, guys. Haven't been on here in a while. Haven't made any videos in a while. I did previously, but kind of strayed away from that. I'm currently on my morning 5-mile walk that I do daily. As you can see outside, it's early in the morning, but it feels good to be out here. I just wanted to get on here, kind of talk about some stuff that is important to me. Maybe can help other people also as well. Just kind of realize that maybe they're not the only ones kind of dealing with stuff like this. I really want my channel to be about mental health and changes that happen in your life that affect you more than you really think they do. And maybe I can try and help you get past those just by talking to you about my experiences. Sorry if I sound out of breath right now. This walk usually kills me every morning. But yeah, so a little backstory about me. I am prior military. I have a wife and 3 beautiful kids. We are a military family. I met my wife when I was in the military, and she is currently on active duty right now as well. We recently PCS'd from where we were living at before for 4 years. And our daughter, when we left, decided to stay, which, I think ended up being a lot bigger than I really thought it was going to be. Me and my daughter have always been very, very close. Our family has always been very close and very tight-knit and very open with one another. So don't get me wrong, it was a big event regardless, but when we moved, I think I really had it in my head that it wasn't going to affect me as much as it did. So where we moved to, we've been here currently, I think about 2-3 months maybe. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of things going on, and I think that was one of the main things that has affected me, over the course of this past 2 or 3 months. I've always struggled with anxiety, so that's always been a thing for me. When I was younger, I was able to manage it a lot better, able to get around it, whether it was through, physical activity or just, grounding techniques or, breathing, whatever it may be. And recently it hasn't been that easy anymore. It's been a lot harder than it has been for me in the past, and I've had to rely on, other outlets and other ways to get through that stuff. And it has been difficult. I am in a good place now, which is good. But when we PCS'd, all my kids were happy where we were at. They genuinely, loved it there. My daughter, she met her boyfriend out there, met a bunch of friends out there, and she loved the environment out there. My middle son as well, he did too. He had a bunch of friends. He loved his friends, loved his school. And my youngest son, he's definitely a little bit more quiet than the other two, but he definitely liked his school. He liked his friends. He liked where we lived at for the most part. And then we had to move. And, my daughter stayed. And, of course, it's hard for her because she's living with friends and getting a sense of what real life is. And, having to pay bills and pay rent and buy food and go to work every day, which is good. That's what every young adult needs to know how to do. And when we moved, my middle son and my youngest son, it wasn't quite as easy for them, which I'm sure it wasn't easy for my daughter either. Moving to a new school, being a new person, it's difficult. And, being a parent, it's difficult for any parent to see their kids struggling. I hated seeing both my boys kind of struggle. I hated hearing my daughter being where she was at and, being lonely and feeling like she didn't have a home to go to. But, these are things that are kind of out of my control and out of my wife's control. All we can really do is just try and make it better for them in any way that we can. which I feel like we have done. But when we moved here, there was also more things that happened. I mean, PCS in itself, in general, is just hard enough, but we had a golden retriever that we had for 12 years. We moved here and he was pretty old, and I think we knew that time was coming. And I want to say we were here for about a month and a half, maybe 2 months. And he finally, passed away. And we have a new house. And, it left a hole there. Like a really big hole. I'm actually semi-emotional right now. That was very hard on the whole family. Even my daughter not being here, I mean, it was extremely hard on me, my wife, and all my kids. So we actually we did get another dog. We do have another golden retriever. At some point in time, I'll introduce you to him. His name is Rory. He's adorable. He's extremely well behaved, and we love him. And, he filled that hole that we had in our hearts and in our home for the most part, but we'll never forget Rocky. He was our first golden retriever, and he was amazing, and we loved him and we miss him. But kind of back to what I was talking about is, as I'm talking about all these things, I mean, these are just things that happen in everyday life. And some people are able to just kind of whatever and move past those, and I think I used to be one of those people. And I mean, I always have feelings, but I don't think you would have ever known. And now I am kind of switching. So I recently just turned 40. Boo. It sucks turning 40. Your body starts just changing in ways that you can't even imagine. It's a lot harder to do a lot of things. But yeah, I think I am not one of those people so much anymore now. It is a lot harder for me to kind of grasp things and understand and just accept. I'm more of a talker now. Like I feel like I need to kind of talk through things and, work my way through them and be able to adapt to the anxiety that I get that comes with those things. But I have figured out ways to do that. I think the most important thing is just actually doing it instead of just ignoring it, because health is the main thing for yourself and for your family. I mean, a lot of things I do right now, like me taking care of myself as far as anxiety, me out here walking, it's not only for me, it's for my family. I'm doing this for them because I want to be there for them for a long time, and I hope I can be, and I really want to be. So I mean, if there's people out there who struggle with anxiety and, or I don't know, maybe you're nervous about getting help, or even depression for that matter. I mean, that's been another thing that's come into my life here recently as well. Something I never dealt with. But if you're struggling with those things, there's no need to be embarrassed, or there's no need to, feel like you're going to be judged for that. I mean, I also had that fear at some point, but, the biggest thing is getting past that and realizing that it's about you and taking care of yourself. So guys, this is almost the end of the video. I, hope this wasn't too negative. I mean, this is just my beginning video to start talking about what I'm trying to do here. You will keep seeing me every day. So I hope to hear from you guys, and hope you guys get to kind of see my life, maybe not the whole thing, but a good part of it. And if you want to show me some love down there at the bottom, just hit that like button and just let me know what you thought of the video. Have a good day, guys.